Hello dear pupils and welcome to an English virtual class. Our topic today is my favorite subject and we are going to practice English sounds pronunciation, define and learn new words, read the text about school subjects and complete reading comprehension exercises, and practice using the degrees of comparison. So, let's move on. Giving opinions is something important in English. When you speak to someone, you have to give your own opinion. How to do it in English? In my opinion, or from my point of view, or to my mind, I believe that, or I strongly believe that. Alright? Remember the phrases and use them. Pronunciation. The sounds oo and oo. Repeat the words, please. Do, to, who, soon, school, room, tooth, you. Sound oo. The same letter combinations. Good. Book, look, cook, wood, woman. Let's practice some sentences using these sounds. Who'll do the rooms? It looks good. Don't come too soon. Here's your cookbook. Would you help this woman? All right. Let's remember the way of telling the time in English. When you want to find out what time it is, we have to use the question, what time is it? And the answer should begin with it's. So to use the clock, we have to know some words and phrases. For example, when it's o'clock, we use it's 12 o'clock. So then we may use half past, or half to. Then we have the word a quarter that is also important and helps us tell the time. A quarter past. Or we can have a quarter to. When we have minutes, we may say 10 past or 20 past. And we may have also 10 to. See the difference? Okay, so now let's answer the question. What time is it? Have a look at the clock. It's 4 o'clock, that's right. What time is it? It's 7:30. Another way to say is it's 7:30. It's the same. What time is it? Remember the word a quarter, so it's high time to use it. It's 11:45. Alright, next one. What time is it? So we have again a quarter, but it's 12:15. Next, what time is it? It's 7:20. Here we have 5 to 6. Good job. I hope you will remember how to use the time in English. Now let's learn some new words in order to read a text, an interesting text about school. So the first word is public school. Public school. In England, it's an expensive type of private school, a school paid for by parents and not by the government. Alright, for example, my cousins went to a public school last year. The next one is curriculum. Curriculum. The subject studied in a school or college, etc., and what each subject includes. For example, maths is a part of the school curriculum. The next word is foreign. Foreign. Belonging or connected to a country that is not your own. For example, the USA was the first foreign country we visited. Next, horse riding. Horse riding. The sport or activity of riding a horse. She likes to go horse riding on weekends. The next one is pottery. Pottery. It means the activity or skill of making clay objects by hand. His grandparents are pottery workers. The next, be good at. Be good at. Be successful or able to do something well. Mary is very good at geography. Alright, the next one, except. Except. Not including or but not. For example, everyone came to school except for John. Next one, complicated. Complicated. Difficult to understand. Math has really complicated rules. Am I right? Good. In order to practice the vocabulary, let's match the words to their definitions. You may pause the video and complete the exercise alone, and then to check with me. So, pottery. It's an activity to make the clay objects. Be good at means be successful or able to do something well. Public school. An expensive type of private school. Foreign means belonging to a country that is not yours. Horse riding. You are right, the sport or activity of riding a horse. Complicated means difficult to understand. Except, not included. Let's read the text and find some interesting information. I hope you will enjoy reading it and then will easily complete the exercises. Jack and Sam are pupils at Square School in Manchester. It's a public school not far from the city center. During the school day, they study subjects on national curriculum: English, maths, history, geography, PE, it means physical education, and ICT, information and communication technology. They also study foreign languages, French or German. They each do creative subjects, so they can choose from music, technology, or drama. Jack likes geography. He thinks it is really interesting and nice, but he hates maths, and it is boring for him. His favorite day is Wednesday because they have ICT and he loves it a lot. Sam likes all the school subjects except for history. He is good at maths and this is his favorite subject. In his opinion, German is the most difficult subject. Speaking is really difficult and grammar is the most complicated of all. Both Jack and Sam adore after-school activities. Their favorite ones are horse riding and pottery clubs. They can develop their own interests and hobbies in the club. They hope to start the photography club soon. Now answer the questions, based on the text, of course. What kind of school do the boys attend? They are pupils at a public school in Manchester. Alright, what foreign languages do they study? They study French and German. What does Jack think about geography? He thinks geography is really interesting and nice. What subject does Jack hate? Do you remember? Of course, he hates maths, as it is boring for him. What is Sam good at? Sam is good at maths. It's his favorite subject. What clubs do the boys prefer? Their favorite ones are horse riding and pottery clubs. Let's go on. It's time for grammar. Remember last time we spoke about adjectives and the degrees of comparison. So, what can you say about this house and that one? This house is smaller than that house. And what about Ben and his house? So, Ben's house is the smallest of all. What you have to remember here is that we use ER with short adjectives, and we use EST for the superlative, again with the short adjectives. So smaller, the smallest. But in English there are other types of adjectives, and these are long adjectives, and we may not use ER or EST with them. So have a look at the screen. We have other types of houses, and we will use another adjectives to compare them. So this house is more expensive than that house. Expensive is a longer adjective than small, big, short, and so on. That's why we have to use more before the adjective. This house is more expensive than that house. And what can we say about Ben's house? You see how nice it is? So Ben's house is the most expensive of all. So, to form the superlative, we have to use the most with the long adjectives. Alright? What is next? We have for the words more and the most antonyms. For example, this house is less expensive than that house. It means less expensive, so not so much. We have more expensive and less expensive. Then the antonym for the most is, if speaking about Sam's house is the least expensive of all. Remember, Ben's house is the most expensive. Sam's house is the least expensive. Alright? What else do we have using comparatives? Interesting facts. You see two guys, they both have houses and they are almost the same. And if we want to say that the houses are almost the same, so we use in English as. Ben's house is as expensive as Anne's house, so they have almost the same value or price. But you see Sam again and Ben. Sam's house is not as expensive as Ben's house, so here we have a negative sentence, so we disagree. Right? Good, better, the best is the first adjective that we call irregular adjective. Why? Because good for comparative has the form better, and we don't need more or er, so we have to pay attention to the fact that it is another form. It's a completely other form. And the best, again, is another form that is not formed as a rule, and we need to remember these forms by heart. So for good, comparative is better, the superlative is the best. Other adjectives, other irregular adjectives are bad, worse, the worst, many, more, the most. The same we have much, again more, the most. Remember the adjective little, we have less and the least. Do you remember the sentences when you used more, less, the most, the least? So these are the forms of the adjectives many, much, and little. Try to remember them. Now let's practice a little bit and use the correct form of the adjectives in brackets. Bears are, then foxes. Here we have a comparative and we have to use bigger. The elephants are. Do we compare the elephants? No, this is the highest level. They are the biggest of all. Again, a comparison. History is more difficult than geography. Maths is the most difficult of all. What about winter? Pay attention to the adjective. We have to use the adjective good. Winter is a better season than autumn. Am I right? Yes. And the last one, what about summer? And I think you will all agree, summer is the best season of the year. Good job, guys. This is all for today. See you next time. Goodbye.